Hello guys, welcome to Naandhi. In this session, we will discuss about what is the golden triangle of the Indian Constitution, why they are referred as the golden triangle, and various challenges and recognition of the golden triangle. Let's see. Now, let's see what is golden triangle. The Constitution of India, Part 3, Articles 12 to 35, that deals with fundamental rights. Why do we call them fundamental rights? Because they are enshrined in the Constitution and they are protected and guaranteed by the Constitution. So among these fundamental rights, Article 14, 19 and 21 together referred as golden triangle. Okay, so why they are referred as golden triangle? Because, for example, if you value someone so much, or if you attach so much significance to someone, you call them by names like Sonu, Sona. For example, in Telugu we refer them as Bangaram, Bujji, Kanna, right? In the same way, these three articles are called as golden triangle, and especially golden because they have a utmost significance, right? They have utmost significance in protecting the rights of the people, and at the same time preventing government's arbitrariness, right? So that is the reason they are protected by the doctrine of basic structure. Okay, so this is the reason we call them golden, because our framers of the Constitution attached so much significance to these three articles. And then why triangle? We refer them as triangle because these three articles are to be read together with each other. Okay, and because of their interconnectedness, because of their interconnectedness, and they have to read together with each other, they are considered as triangle. They are not separate, or they're not isolated, right? They are together. We need to read these three articles together, and because of their interconnectedness they are referred as triangle. That's why these three articles are referred as golden triangle. Let's try to understand these three articles in a brief way. Article 14, it provides equality before the law and or equal protection of the laws within the territory of India. Okay, not the outside the territory of India, within the territory of India, irrespective of religion, race, gender, caste, place of birth. And it is applicable to citizens and foreigners as well. Here, equality doesn't mean providing uniformity to everyone. Okay, so it doesn't mean providing equality or absolute equality to everyone, or uniform treatment to everyone. Okay, here then what does it mean? It treats equals equally, unequals as unequally. Okay, for example, affirmative actions or reservations or an example of this principle. Okay, so when it comes to Article 19 provides 6 fundamental rights to the citizens of India. What are these 6 fundamental rights, by the way? Freedom of speech and expression, assembly, association, movement, residence and settlement, trade and occupation with certain reasonable restrictions. Okay, this reasonable, these 6 freedoms has to be enjoyed within certain reasonable restrictions. There are mentioned in Article 19 too. Now currently we have 8 reasonable restrictions. For example, public order, sovereignty and integrity of India, or morality and relations with the international countries. So these are the examples of reasonable restrictions. Okay, so when it comes to Article 21 guarantees protection of life and personal liberty to every individual. Here it applies to citizen as well as non-citizens, that is foreigners also. Okay, and it doesn't, here protection of life doesn't mean only a life. It's a here living a life with dignity, even dying with death in dignity also. Okay, so it also covers health, education, environment, healthy environment. So this, the scope of Article 21 has been extended by several judgments. So now you must have understand how these articles, these 3 articles are interconnected with each other. They are different numerically because this 14, 19 and 21 may be different because of their numbers, but they are interconnected in their essence and their purpose. So because of these, our framers of the constitution have attached so much significance to these articles and call them as the golden triangle. However, the interconnectedness between these 3 articles have been challenged initially in cases such as Kannayalal versus Union of India, A.K. Gopalan versus State of Madras. So in these judgments, they held that all 3 articles completely exclusive and separate from each other. But however, in the landmark judgment regarding the interconnection between these 3 articles came in the case of Menaka Gandhi versus Union of India. Okay, let's see in detail about the Menaka Gandhi versus Union of India. So in the Menaka Gandhi versus Union of India 1978. So in the judgment, the court has held that Articles 14, 19, 21 are not mutually exclusive. And they also established a nexus between these 3 articles. Okay, so let's see what are the major findings of the Menaka Gandhi versus Union of India case. So what are the major findings of the case? Number 1, it declared that the language used in Article 21, that is procedure established by law, such procedure must not be arbitrary and irrational. So that procedure established by law must be fair, just and reasonable. And the court also established a special relationship. Okay, they also established a special relationship between these provisions, and also said that each law must pass the test of the said provisions. Any law which has been passed by the legislature has to pass the test of these three articles. Okay, and at the same time, the court held that the interpretation of the personal liberty should not be construed in a narrow and strict sense, but should be done in a liberal and broad sense. So these are the major findings by the Maneka Gandhi versus UN of India case. Even there is one more case, that is Minerva Mills versus Union of India 1980. In this judgment, judiciary has declared that no law, no law can be passed which will be violating the articles 14, 19 and 21 of the Indian Constitution. It also held that these three laws stands between the heaven of the freedoms and the misuse of the unrestrained power of the government. And even in the most recent cases like Aruna Shanbok and Shabarimala case verdicts also recognized the significance of the Trinity of the Golden Triangle and kept in mind that no law should be passed which will be violating the Articles 14, 19, 21 of the Indian Constitution.